Good morning, everyone. I'm Sir Jarek. I know some of you already know me. And by the way, how are you during this crisis? I hope you're all good, staying at home. And this will be your first training, online training, and we'll be discussing about the basic policies and procedures in the organization. So this will be the first topic that we need to discuss, okay, for the Student Body Organization Officers Online Leadership Training Program 2020. So this will help you to be more equipped, okay, in office matters or in the procedural matters in running the office. So let's take this first, knowing the objectives. First, set up expectation of the advisor, officer, and the organization. So along the way, we will discuss also setting expectation to me as your advisor, you as the student leader, and collectively for the entire group. And we will also discuss mostly in preparing you in the office operation, and that also will be able to establish a smooth transition in running the office. So now let's take this setting expectations. First, we have my role as your advisor. So I take this approach, this kind of approach, hands-on and hands-off approach, because I believe this is more appropriate, most especially in handling a student leader organization. So there are some point that I'll be hands-on with you, with your activities, okay, in planning, but there are also point that I'll let you do your own, and so you can learn. And if you commit mistake, of course, I can help you to, I can discuss it to you and to learn something of that certain mistake. So I can guide you with that. Second, aid in leadership development and skills training. So same thing what I'm doing right now. I am doing my best, okay, to provide also at least online training that make you more equipped and prepared, that will add on also to your skills in running the office. And next, we have group encouragement. So in running the office, that we are unmotivated in doing our job. So I'm always there. Don't worry, I can help you to be more encouraged in doing your tasks, in guiding you in making some activities and projects, okay, so that you will be motivated in doing it. Next, resource on college policies, procedures, contacts, etc. So here we need to help each other to gather up, okay, the things that we need to know about the procedural matters in the office processes. Of course, we need to know the things that we need to do in terms of the college policies, so that we can also establish a good relationship with other offices. And we need to gather also information, okay, in terms we need it. Next, help the group troubleshoot problems. So of course, as your advisor, I need to help you in terms of issues, okay? If you're experiencing issues and problem, okay, we need to help each other to troubleshoot that problem and to solve that certain problem, okay? So of course, hands-on and hands-off approach will always apply, okay? If I know I need to be hands-on with a certain job or task, okay, I will do it. And if there's no need to be hands-on with it, so because I believe you can do it with your own, so of course I'll be doing hands-off approach. So next, access to internal and external networking. So of course, but not totally applied during this crisis, but I need also to help you to how to do networking opportunities, not just internally but also externally. So ask questions and challenge students. So of course, it's more important also that I can help you to gather your own knowledge and information. Okay, I can ask you bridging questions that can end up or lend to a solution. Next, proper channeling of information as well. Okay, so as your advisor, as much as possible, I need to channel you this the information that I receive, okay, from any offices or from our administration, so that we know what are the things that we need to do as a group. Okay, Next, monitor expenditures, policies, and goals. So there are times also that I need to check and ask you if we are still on track with our expenditures, policies, and goals. Next, provide year-to-year continuity and aid in leadership and officer transition. So as your advisor, okay, our office will always remain, but the people who are, who are handling the office, okay, the year of our service will also end. So as the advisor, I need to provide a year-to-year continuity, okay, and also a smooth transition from old officer to new officer. So I can also give you some advice on how to do it, okay, along the way. Next, what a student leader should expect of an advisor. So what are these things that you need to expect to me as your advisor? First, establishing a good communication, okay? And next, assistant in formulating long-range goals and planning short-term project. This is also important, okay? Not just seeing those short-term project or goals, but we need to check also what are these things or activities, projects, okay, that will tend to become a long-term project, okay, that will help our student as a whole, okay, to experience that certain project, okay, not just to that specific year, but also it should be continuity, okay. Next, resource person evaluate projects, performance, and progress. So of course, as your advisor, I'm not just there to give advice, but also to evaluate, okay, to check your projects, okay, your activities, if you're still on track with your progress with your current performance as we go along. And next, offer guidance by reviewing goals, objectives, and progress of the organization. So not just individually, but also for the entire group collectively. I need to check, okay, if the progress of individual also relates the progress of the entire group. Next, assistance with college procedural matters. Again, this is the same thing what I've discussed a while ago. As my role as your advisor, I need to assist you with all the procedural matters. So we need also to help each other, okay, to get things be done properly and more organized. Next, suggestions on how organization could be strengthened or improved. Okay, say with the training, okay, and online training that I can provide to you, okay. This will also help you strengthen and improve, okay, not just the individual, but also for the whole group. Next, improve strategies for leadership skills, okay. Along the way also, for our next training, probably I can teach you how to create good foundation, okay, as a leader, okay, because eventually you will evaluate each of you. You can evaluate what type of leader and what kind of leader he or she is, okay, your colleagues. Next, accessible and available should emergency situation or problem arise. So don't worry, I'm always available, okay, whenever you need me, whenever you need to contact me. So I can just provide you my contact information so that you can contact me anytime and times you need my suggestions. Next, willingness to listen to and be open to criticism and evaluation. So here, it's not just you are learning to me, but also I am learning to you. So I am always open with criticism, and if you evaluate something or if you need to evaluate me, okay, I am very open-minded to accept that, because again, I am also learning to you. Okay. Next, allow the group to act on its own and to make mistakes, but help them learn from mistakes. I can also guide you and help you to learn something with whatever mistakes that you've done. Next, help in maintaining organization records. So this is most likely the job of secretary, but through my help, I can help you in how to keep records, okay, so that this will be historically keep and pass next officers. Next, encourage the division of labor among group members to sustain members' interests. So this is this actually the most important one, you should also expect to me that I need to encourage you to properly, okay, properly disseminate the tasks, okay, that properly disseminate the work, because what will happen sa may mahitabuan ni kung dili na to ma-disseminate ang mga trabaho, ang mga tasks. We don't trust the members, okay? Meaning wala tanituon nila kay this will make them feel nga wala tanituon nila kay wala na to sila hatagig trabaho. So as a leader, okay, since each of you, okay, you are a leader, you need to know that there should be a proper division of labor within the group, okay, so that this will sustain also the interest of all the members, okay. So I hope you are all clear with your expectation. Next, what an advisor should expect from a student leader. So, okay, those are just short one. Again, first we have, again, proper channeling of information or establishing good communication. That's always the first one, okay? Because when we say establishing good communication, it will lend us, okay, properly in addressing issues, okay, and solving problem. Next, keeping advisor informed on activities, meetings, agendas, and topics under discussion. So I always expect that you need to inform me ahead of time, okay? Whatever decision you made, whatever agendas and discussions being brought up during the sessions and meetings. Of course, I can always be there during your meetings so that I can also advise and I can check if everybody also are participating. And next, attendance or regularly scheduled informational meeting. Okay, so most especially this applies during your regular meetings or regular sessions, which happens every first Friday of the month. So I believe everybody should be present during every time you have your regular sessions, or if Gov asks you to come up with a special session as well. Next, to assist other students in the organization and skill development as the higher student body organization for the entire senior high school. So I expect that you can also assist those other student leader, okay, of course the mayors, okay, because as a leader, it does not only apply to you, okay, for yourself or for the organization, but also for your constituents, okay. Next, willingness to share responsibility with other group members. So dili gyud pwede nga ako na to tanan, okay. That's very hard for us nga atuon na to tanan natong mga trabaho, and then eventually it will not actually benefit you, okay, because it will just give you a burden in your part. And also the people around you, your colleagues, will also give this will also give burden to them, because they will eventually feel nga dili sila wala sila kanang gamit sa grupo. So again, proper dissemination of job. Next, make sure all group activities are documented and historically saved. So each of you, okay, we are not excused for this one, because we need actually to document each project activities that we conducted, so that once the next or the new group of officers, okay, will try to evaluate the activities that you conducted, okay, during the past years, it is very evident to them, and they are more encouraged to conduct also activities, okay, so that they can also pass that certain project and activities to the next generations of officers. Next, make sure next, invite advisors to meetings, so that also I can give input, suggestions, ideas, okay, as you go along with your discussions with the agendas you brought up. Next, inform them and invite them to org events. They should always be aware of what's going on. This is actually expected, okay? Whether you invite me or not, I should always be present with whatever activities you conducted or project, okay? So now we're done with all the expectation to me as your advisor and you as a student leader and for the entire group. Now let's move on to this the 2018 Constitution of Southwestern University FINMA Senior High School Student Body Organization. This serves as your Bible. As the student leader of senior high school, you need to understand, okay, at least it's not necessary that you will memorize all the articles stated in this constitution, but at least you understand the basic one and you know the basic one. So again, its definition: constitution, the body of rules and principles in accordance with which the powers of sovereignty are regularly exercised. So we cannot do everything, but you need to consult always your constitution. Okay, if you are still aligning, okay, your activities, your job, your roles and obligation, okay, especially your duties and your responsibilities, you need to check that. Okay, each of you officers should know their duties and responsibilities. If you don't have the copy of the constitution, ask Gov, so that starting today you can review it, you can read it, and so that you will be guided along the way. Okay, so next, managing members. So this is also important. Okay, so leaders should have current roster names, emails, phone number, positions, and any other information relevant to the organization. So it's not just the personal contact information, also at least the t-shirt sizes, class year, okay, their section, committee placement. Okay, these are lists that you need to have individually. Each officer should have a roster name, okay, their email address, not just within the group but also other offices, okay, and also the other administrators. So, and let me remind you as well, you need to keep this one because these are considered as sensitive personal information. So we need to consider the data privacy law as well. Next, publicly recognize accomplished goals, successful events, completed tasks, and hard work. So if you just done or finished a certain event or project, okay, you need also to acknowledge or recognize the efforts of your group. Okay, thank you for doing or accomplishing this certain task. Okay, that's actually important. That will make them more motivated. Next, keep people accountable to their responsibilities. So each of you, okay, not just being accountable, but first you need to know your responsibilities. Again, that's what I have said. You need to check, okay, your duties and responsibilities, but not limited to whatever good duties and responsibilities stated in your constitution. Okay, but at least you have this moral understanding of your duties and responsibilities, so that eventually you can consider yourself that you are all you are actually accountable of this certain position. You will just directly feel it that you are actually accountable of this certain responsibility because you feel it. Okay, you understand it, your duties. Okay, and eventually it will reflect a good leader. Next, be consistent and fair. Don't be a dictator. So there are some points as well that we tend to become a dictator. Okay, always keep in mind that you should always be consistent and fair to your group. Okay, whatever task that needs to be done, okay, you need to be firm enough, but also being a firm, it's good, but you need to actually let them feel that you are still approachable. Okay, next, develop meaningful relationship with members. Don't always talk about the org. Be sociable and approachable. So also we need to consider that it's not good that we just keep talking about the tasks, the job that we need to be that we need to do for the organization, but we need to consider as well that there are times that we need to let them feel, our members, our colleagues, that we are approachable, okay, we are friendly, we are sociable, so that you can gain good relationship, okay, with each other. Next, retaining members. It's also important that you need to consider on how the things that you need to know on how to retain your members. First, have and keep contact with members. Okay, so it's also important, okay, that you always acknowledge your members' presence, and also hold interest by giving people tasks and trusting them with them. Most people will stay motivated when they can take ownership for projects. So again, just give to them your trust. Okay? Dili kay kanang sure ka kahibaw ka ni. Okay? Sure ka nga kuan kanang kaya nimo. Okay? Don't say that words. Just trust them, and eventually the more they are motivated, okay, the more it will be successful for that certain task that you have given. Okay, so hold a special welcoming event. Okay, this is not actually necessary, but at least you can also plan for us for a welcoming event. Okay, most especially during if there's already a new officers. Next, orient your new members. Encourage old and new members to form bonds by using icebreakers and team building activities. So not just me can give activities, simple activities, okay, with the group, but you as a leader, you can also think something that can establish good foundation of your relationship with your with your colleagues. So might as well you can also contact with other old officers, okay, so that you will also know the tasks that you need to do, the things that you need to be reminded with the kind of position you have. Next, remember the member's name. Okay, you need also to take note, and as much as possible, at least you can remember their first name. Okay, so next, get contact information. So again, it's stated already during our discussion of expectation. You need to have a contact information. Okay, so these are actually can be used in times of emergency as well. Okay, next, provide reminders of responsibilities. Be patient but firm. Okay, it's more important as well that you will just trust them, okay, with all your heart to do their duties and responsibilities, but at least you can also remind them, but you should be patient. You must be approachable enough in reminding them, not just being dictator. Next, recognize and show appreciation for your members, both publicly and in private. Okay, so we already discussed that. Next, have fun together. Know when it is time to work and to play, and time to play. No one wants to feel like involvement in an organization which is burden. So again, do not let your members, your colleagues feel that this is already burden to your part. The organization is already burden to their part. And eventually, it will result to something like I will no longer participate in the group. Okay, it will lead to something like they quitting. Okay, so of course, take also time to communicate. Okay, take time also to do some activities that related to work. Okay, so that again to establish a good relationship with your colleagues. So these are the simple tips that can help you retain your members, okay, and also manage your members. Next, running meetings. So again, uh, these are actually basic, okay, the most important and fundamental in being an organization. So we always do meetings, sessions, regular sessions, special sessions, okay? You need to understand that already. Okay, kinahanglan isudan mo sa mong utok nga this already our regular session. Kinahanglan ko mo-attend sa mong regular session. Okay? I need to call for a special session. Okay? So conduct regular session and calling for special session should depend on the urgency of the matter. Okay? Okay, so as per review to your constitution, your regular session will fall on the first Friday of the month. So you need to take note on that. And if in case there's a need to call for a special session, okay, Gov will need to inform you ahead of time, okay, and so that you can provide also agendas or things that can be brought up during that special session, okay. and what are those things that needs to be focused, what are these necessary questions or needs to ask, okay, needs to be addressed during that session. Next, define the purpose of the meeting. It's important as well. Okay, you cannot actually conduct a meeting if you don't know what are the things to be discussed. And again, develop and stick to the agenda. So ahead of time, at least 1 week before, you already write all the things that you need to ask during the session. You must provide already the agendas that can be brought up during the session. Okay, so it's important. You need to discuss it with secretary. Okay, you need to inform secretary. Secretary, mao ni ako ang gusto nga i-discuss kaninga session. Okay, mao ni siya ang akong gusto. So that secretary can list down all the agenda that needs to be brought up during the session. Okay, so it's also important. I suggest that secretary can also send a message to each members of the council that asking if there's something that they can suggest and that can be discussed during the session. Okay, secretary can do that. Next, record meeting minutes and distribute to all members. So it's important as well during the meetings you have the previous minutes of the session, and at the same time you are doing the minutes. Okay, so unsa man ang minutes of the meeting? It's like a list down of all the things that you have discussed during the session. Okay, so that you will be guided, okay, with all the procedures that you have done, okay, with all the decisions that you made from the previous session to the next session. There are also things that you need to consider. Okay, there might be amendments that can be brought up during the session, so you need to take notes on that. You need to have the minutes of the meeting. Next, we have give members a chance to discuss and evaluate goals and objectives. So during the meeting, it's important as well that you need to let all the members, okay, give them the chance to discuss, okay, to express themselves, and so that this can be also used during the decision making. You cannot just take one point of view, one perspective. You can also consider the perspective of others by hearing the members' objectives. So next we have keep members updated on current events and ask for their input. Okay, so from time to time, you need to be not just depend to secretary, okay, to be updated, but you need to do it in your own so that you will be updated on current events, and so that you can also provide inputs during the session. Okay, again, and also delegate tasks and trust the members will follow through. Next, incorporate members' appreciation and recognition for hard work and successes. Again, it's the most important one as well. These two, we already discussed this one. Next, pull everyone's resources and opinions together for decision making. Again, ask everyone part of the session. Okay, during the session, you need to ask them, okay, to brought up something during the session so that you can also consider, okay, by the time that you make decisions. So next, I hope everybody are learning. So we have here managing budget. So these are basic again. First, we have invest time to conduct a strategic planning for the future activities. Okay, this is actually the first thing that we need to do in an organization. Again, the organization will always start with a zero budget. So you need to ask, okay, what will be your expected budget for that academic year. Okay, you need to ask that for in the accounting office. Okay, so that you will know your total budget, and so that you by the time that you will conduct your strategic planning, when we say strategic planning, you will already for the future activities. Okay, you will take notes of the possible activities and projects, okay, that might happen in the future. So by listing all these activities also, you can also weigh in, okay, how much the allocation of the budget that you can put of this certain activity. And again, the budget allocation should always depend on the scope of the activity. You cannot just divide all the budget and appropriate in each and have the balance allocation of all activities. You cannot do that. You need to consider the scope of the activity. You need to check the activity, okay, how much that you can allocate of this certain activity or project. Next, include your to your allocation the maintenance and other operating expenses in the offices. So MOOE. So you need to consider as well the things that you need that you can also use in the office, like for example, bond paper, ink. We cannot also do that. We can use something in our pocket. Okay. So of course, you need to consider this one as well. Next, activity or training design must be checked thoroughly before releasing the budget. So each activity, project, or program, okay, that will be conducted, it should always accompanied with resolution, okay, activity or training design, and guidelines if needed, okay? But the most important here is the activity or the training design, okay? The activity or training design, there will be a transparency of the use of budget. You will know there if the amount, okay, of each materials that being used, is it actually reasonable enough, the prices that being input there. So you need to check and consider that as well. Next, the treasurer should do his or her duties and responsibilities to keep the financial status of the group healthy. So as much as possible, again, the treasurer needs to check, okay, your duties and responsibilities if you're still aligned, okay, if you are also making this, you are also helping to make this the financial status of the group healthy, okay. Okay, so setting deadlines. So pace yourself and give offices people time to get things done for you instead of rushing them. So it's important that you need to have an individual time management. You need to consider that because we cannot afford to let offices and administrators to rush them because we have lack of time already because you're not able to prepare that ahead of time. So it's best to know first as to when you need to process certain documents, okay, submit certain documents so that they can review it properly in the right time. Setting deadlines, okay, it's also important that you have already set your deadlines ahead of time during your planning stages, okay. You already done with, you already have the exact time and date to as to when it will be submitted, as to when it needs to be done or finished. So and give at least 2 weeks notice before your event. Make sure that at least 2 weeks you're already done with all your preparation so that you can still check, okay, you can still evaluate the things that you still need to do or necessary for that certain event or project, okay. It's important also that you need to run through the event from set up to tear down and also make a list of everything you need, okay, because sa may tabuan ni kung dili nila to buhaton. Okay, you know already. It will fail us or our activity might fail. We need to expect that there are also circumstances that might happen during the event. So you need to consider that it should always be part of your checklist that you have already a plan B for this one if this might happen. That's why it's important that you already done with all your preparation at least 2 weeks before. So next, list of procedural matters. So again, the group, okay, we should also help each other to come up with the right format and the standard operating procedure. We need to do this one. What are the things, okay, that we need to prepare, especially in filling some forms? We need to ask it to a certain office. Is there any forms that they need to, that we need to follow, that we need to ask? Is this actually the right format that we need to follow? And is this the right procedure we are doing? Okay, we need to consider that and we need to have a list for this one. Each of us should know also the processes, okay? Next, list of contact information. So again, it's important, you need to have a roster names, you have an contact information, not totally the personal contact number, but at least the working number, the working email address. Most likely during this crisis, everything is being online already. Next, now, smooth transition or smooth officer transition. I always encourage you that you should take notes of all the tasks that you need to do. Okay, you must have your own notebook so that you can list down there the tasks for that certain position. So that by the time you will end up your term, okay, and the next set of officers, you will hand it to them your notebook, but it's not just simply as handing it to them your binder or your notebook, but you need also to train them. Each task that you have written in your notebook, so you need to train them as well how the positions operates. Next, previous officers should share knowledge, resources, contact information, paperwork, standard procedures, deadlines, timelines, responsibilities, organization expectation, and etc. Again, it's necessary that you all know about this one so that by the time that there's a transitions of officers, you can properly hand it to them. And it's a good idea to hold a meeting with both the previous and the new officers and members. So I believe you already done this one with the previous officers. You had already your meeting, and I believe it was actually properly handed over to you your task. Okay. Helpful tips. Okay, we're almost done. So I'm doing this fast as much as I can. So first, learn as much about the group as you can. Develop confidence in each other. So do not allow that someone will left behind. You're a group, so you must be all together. You develop your confidence along the way, and you must learn each other. Next, get to know the organization's purpose, how it was formed, and the organization place in the campus culture. So you need also to consider the things that being established since then. You need to know what's actually the purpose of the organization. Same goes with me. And how it was being formed, what's the place of the organization in the campus. And I guess you already know that you are the highest body organization that's in your high school. Okay, so take the opportunity to discuss agendas and any current issues or concerns during the meetings. You need to take the opportunity of having sessions and meetings. Okay, that's the right time that you can discuss everything. You can bring up everything, your concerns, so that as a group, we can take all the possible opportunities for the group. Next, observe the members of the council. How does he or she function in the group? What type of personality problems does the group have? What are the strengths and weaknesses of its various members? Comments on strengths you have seen and offer suggestions on weaknesses you may have noticed. It's important as well that you know the strengths and weaknesses of each members or your colleagues so that you can also give comments of their strength and how they can improve with their weaknesses and how can these strengths can help the group. Okay, we will have our first activity after this one or might be the next day so that can still watch, or for those who are not able to watch this video can still participate to our activity. So just keep updated to our group chat or to our page. I will be posting activity to our page or group chat. Okay, so just keep updated. Again, I hope everybody were learning all the things that we have discussed today. And we still have many topics that we need to discuss. Stay online if you can, so that you can check each topics or each videos that I will be discussing. Okay, that's it. We are done. So I hope everybody are learning to our discussion for today. Basic procedural matters, policies that you need to know in running the office. Once again, thank you. I'm Sir Jarek. See you to our next video presentation for the next topic. Thank you. Bye.